Hi, Bill here. This is the third episode in the series of the 21st century use of convex hones for razors to bring an update and where my goal is and where I'm going. This was Exhibit 1. This is a gold dollar that I had honed up and using multiple curvatures of convex stones, and I was so enthused with the results I got out of it. I thought I'd pursue a maybe more available method in case people wanted to try this. I went ahead and shaped my stones. That's the other thing, and I told some of the history. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to hone up. I have two, Exhibit B and C, two other gold dollars that I ground a little bit away at the stabilizer. And I know I said I was going to do the first one and all the tests live on video, but I went ahead and I did this when I figured I'd do it first. I couldn't, I was just too impatient. And I shaved with that. I was supposed to wait and do a test shave with it, but I couldn't do that either. Eventually, and it'll probably be off camera. This one there are in this area, there's a couple little chips that are still in there. They weren't anything that dug my face up or anything, but I could see them. This one is totally untouched other than having the stabilizer ground off with my belt sander. So I'm going to be using the Sharpening Supplies stones, their name brand stuff, which is another thing to test on the stone. It's an economical stone to have, and they seem to work pretty good. Do they work as good as the stuff that I am currently using? I don't think so. What I'm also hoping to do is try and in time go through and find since I finish on strops that are charged with an abrasive, I want to try and find an economical thing. My initial testing with diamond pastes did not necessarily yield the same thing that I'm getting out of CBN, but I didn't have the very, very small particle size on the diamond. The reason I went right out of the gate with CBN was that even though if you take a given measured particle size, diamond naturally has, even though the particle size is measured, it has, let's say, a little bit more jagged type. It's supposed to. I haven't looked at them. I'm not a geologist, but it's supposed to have a little bit greater tendency to have a little spiky nature to it, which can create a deeper scratch, whereas the man-made CBN is supposed to be a little bit more uniform in its shape. So being more uniform in its shape would probably yield a few less scratches. Now, the test that I'm going to do, and I brought out where I actually came up with this test, and some people have liked it, used it, whatever. I don't always have grapes or tomatoes around here. That was what I used along with the thumb pad test, which is something I thought I'd never do. But this is a DX with a feather super, and this is where I first, use that. And interesting thing about this is this, it goes in pretty easy, but it breaks and then it goes in. I'm told that I've read somewhere that the final, this is like a 3-faceted bevel. I'm told that the last one is 19 degrees, which is higher than many straight razors. But it becomes my gauge for well, just how hard do I have to press and what do I feel? And this is something where I use pretty regularly to gauge. I'm going to start off with the Untouched gold dollar razor. And I'm going to see if I can zoom the camera down in on here so you can see what I'm doing. Another interesting thing that I thought about was that this has the shorter radius in this direction, the longer radius that direction. And in my curiosity, not too long ago, I bought a new Boker razor, and I took it with a factory edge. I wanted to see, you know, at times, you know, as far as a factory edge, a shave-ready edge, you know, to me, if you're going to be a straight razor shaver, you better learn how to sharpen your razors, because it doesn't matter. You can buy a shave-ready edge, but it's not going to take all that long, and it's going to start to get dull, or something's going to happen to it. So this is part of it. If you don't, you know, unless you want to be sending your stuff out to somebody and pay them to do it, you do have to learn to do this yourself. And an interesting thing was, I did the little magic marker thing, which reminds me, I didn't get a magic marker out here for my little tests. But I did the magic marker thing on the Boker, and I put it on one of my stones, which is like this one, on the elliptical dimension, being longer this way and shorter this way. And I found that where I was going with that razor, and I wanted to see where I was pretty much perpendicular to the stone, and I would make a move like this, I wanted to see where was the contact. And it was very surprising to me that that the Boker razor was, I was already on a given curvature, but the Boker razor had already had some of this type of thing. So when I came along with my stone, okay, I was hitting right on the edge, which showed me that what they were probably doing was using a shorter radius for their work than this particular one. But along the lines of that, when you have an ellipse, one of the things about an ellipse is that you, by angling the razor, you're changing the radius of the stone that is applied to what area. And since this stone is shaped, okay, on the same shaping plate as this, okay, by taking the tool that I'm trying to sharpen, and as I move this way, I'm moving from this longer curvature, which you almost cannot really see, but it's there, to something like this, okay, because this matches this. So as you turn the razor going around there, you move towards more of a back beveling effect with the shorter curvature. So I didn't try this yet on this stone, but I'm going to use a little bit of, dump a little bit of water with Dawn in it, and I'm going to start. Now, one thing I'm not going to do, okay, is I'm not going to, I kind of looked at this razor, it's a little bent, and there might be a little spine wear on it from whatever happened to it. I haven't touched it, I haven't put a stone to it at all, but I'm not going to tape this. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to do any kind of a wobble test or anything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to this stone, and I'm just going to start using just alternating back and forth strokes, and I'm going to sharpen it. And I'm going to keep the video running. I don't want to have a 2-hour video or an hour-long video or an hour and a half or however long it takes me to do this, where you have to sit there and watch me go back and forth, because you know, how much can you watch? So when I edit this, I'm going to see, can I take this and go into a fast motion, or do I want to just cut some bits and pieces out of it? I'm not really sure, but I'll keep it running, and at least I'll know have some sort of an idea what kind of time investment I have in it. My two favorite, the three favorite tools that I'll be using. Oh, by the way, I just thought I'd show you. This was one of the ones. This was the one that was honed up on my normal rocks, and this just kind of goes right in. This was the one that I shaved with the other day that was honed up on this stuff. Okay, it didn't go in quite as easy, okay, but it does go in. I think I can get this better. I'm going to work it in, and the ultimate thing could be in the abrasives that I'm using on the strops, or the shape strop, kangaroo and calf hide. It could be something in there, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get to use this inexpensive type stuff to match what I have found that I really like. This is just an informational thing. This is what I do, okay? This is not to say that any other method that somebody else is using is bad, okay? Another thing in what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of making just a stroke where I'm rocking this across, where I'm getting contact here, and I'm going across, and any inconsistency, since there's always a small area of contact here, that area of contact where I'm actually hitting the edge will follow through with that, and it will maintain the shape. One thing you do need to do with, and I imagine mathematically, just thinking my way through it, you would have to do it really on any stone, okay? When you're using one of these X type strokes, okay, if you were the area that's going to see the least amount of work is in here. So I don't, if the video catches it, I'm not real sure, but what I know that I'm going to have to do is I know that I'm going to have to do some additional, spend some little additional time. I found that I have to work the heel a little bit more than I do for the toe, because I'm starting here, and as soon as I go off, I'm immediately done with honing on this part, and then by the time I get out here, this part sees a whole lot more action than this does. So there'll be more time that you need to spend on this, which is a difference in if you have totally flat razors and totally flat stones, where you put the whole thing down on the stone at one time, and the whole thing is always on, and you're never dropping anything off. You know, it's not something you would have to worry about, or not something would be an instance. Here, it's something you have to be aware of and pay attention to. Okay, so there on my timer here on the video, including the amount of talking that I did in the beginning, I'm at 18 minutes, and with the magic marker test, I pretty much have got where my stone is contacting to create a bevel, and I am feeling with the thumb pad that maybe a little bit more. There's parts of it that are a little sharper than the others, but so I'm really close. So it doesn't take that long. 1000 grit stone, it works pretty fast. This is where I'd said a lot of times the heel of the razor needs a little bit more time specifically to be worked on. And when you do this, sometimes you also do need to make sure that the toe is getting some of the same, because if you're and mathematically, if you think about it, and you think about the, I don't know what they grind these Chinese razors on, but I think it's called a hexa, the double wheelie device with the grinder on it and the water squirting in. It was that the Europeans used to get hollow grinds, where they would put it in between these two wheels and have a lever that would pressure against them. Mathematically, when you go into there, so you go in, you're grinding, it becomes 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. So you would always be having a little less grinding time on the heel on that device. And I've never measured, I've never really looked at them. It just mathematically, it seems like that it would be very possible that this part of the razor would have a lot less, could have some amount less action on the grinder that's doing the basic profile shaping of the blade. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. It looks like I have any chips that were initially in there have been taken out. So less than 20 minutes in on that, and then just stepping up along through the progression. Okay, so that's not a whole lot of time with the 3000. I'm gonna do a little bit more work. I have the same feel as I am going through. I don't feel any interruptions. It feels smooth as I'm going across. It looks, it feels like with grinding, I'm gonna get off of there. I'm done, where it's moved from a toothy feel to kind of a smoother feel. think that makes it for the 3000. My next jump up on the same curvature stone is to a 6000. The beauty I like about using a packing peanut for the test, and I like these type of packing peanuts that are kind of S-shaped, more so than some of the others that I've seen. Some are quite a bit more difficult to cut through. I don't know what chemically, I think these are probably a foam, polystyrene foam, which is not a terribly hard material to cut. Some of the other ones may be some sort of a biodegradable material that actually does not quite cut as easy. But whichever, my recommendation, if you want to adopt this as a method to evaluate your work, find a tool. Again, I like to use the Feather Artist Club to be my benchmark for this. And then the nice thing about this is that as I go through and increase or the fineness of my grit, I also find that there's a progressive increase in the ease at which this will penetrate in there, whereas I need less of a angle cut and until I get to where, like right now, this does not do a very simple straight push cut, but a little bit of a lateral motion makes it go right in. And it's something that you can check across the whole edge very, very easily. I've not really had too much luck, although I can understand the thing where you're doing this and you're feeling the grab that it goes into your nail. For me, the best thing in terms of feel was actually to be feeling the edge with your thumb. But I like this. This seems to be a little bit more sensitive in the readout it's going to give me. Okay, so now that I'm at 6,000, I am going to do a little bit of a work on the 10,000, but not a whole lot, because for the most part, this 10,000 grit is going to be where I'm going to come back to after I create that back bevel with the stone that has the shorter radius cut on its arc. And I don't know if, because I don't actually have the text from the German Grinders handbook. I've looked at it. I've read it a couple of times. I never bothered to print it out. But it does seem to kind of indicate that that you use, as you progress through, you use, theoretically speaking, wheels that are smaller and then larger and larger until you're at a point where in the very final, the stone that you use is flat or almost flat. I'm going through this with the long radius to get my bevel and my edge from the guide, the spine, all the way to the edge, and then the work after that is all going to be just hollowing that bevel out some. And then I'm going to come back, and the stone finish is going to be where I'm working just the edge, because this stone, after I cut away in the back, this stone will not touch anything except the spine and the very, very tip of the edge. Okay, so there I am. My timestamp right now for the whole video is about 39 minutes, and this is cutting pretty good, pretty uniformly all the way across. It's not on the perfect push cut, but just a little bit of a lateral move, and it does go in pretty good. So now I'm going to go to the back beveling with the deep curvature. The first one is going to be a 3000. If you watched the first video, I had this particular stone holder had a little piece that went in the middle, I guess, to support the stone in the middle. I did have to take that out because no matter where I put it, it would cause this stone to rock around in there. If using this particular stone, where you're using a double-sided stone, these are getting thinner. Okay, if you drop this, I imagine it would break, and I also imagine that if you were too heavy-handed with your work here at this stage, pushing on here, you could crack the stone, I imagine. So this is something that if you're of the mindset to want to try these stones, speaking specifically on the Sharpening Supplies brand of waterstone, and they do have to soak. They do have the 8 by almost 3 at a full inch of thickness. I like them. Is it something that I have a whole set of the nanoas? I didn't buy the whole set of nanoas as individuals. I bought the ones that are combination stones there as well. That is something where even over that you can save money. Certainly an option. I like, most of my work is done where I'm doing the back beveling on the ones that I've done it of my razors. I've done it with the Caterpillar, which is a really fast cutter, but it's short. It's not as long. Like this, I could possibly see this stone becoming and buying a couple of the full-size stones, single stones at 1 inch of thickness, and actually using them instead of the Caterpillar. So it is possible, and I have done it. I don't know if I've done it yet by ratchet jawing and not watching what I'm doing, but it is possible for you to actually eliminate, make your entirety of your bevel on this radius. I'm seeing parts of it where I could have done that. Now, one thing on this stone, if you are angling, the angle does have a tendency to, I believe, decrease the amount of curvature that you're applying to this. I haven't played with it enough to see what effect that has, because what I'm doing is just merely working on making that bevel more and more hollow. I think I've seen where when the inventor of the shaping plate does this, he would use these short radius stones first and then go to the longer radius stone. And when you're using this, some of the inconsistencies that the other stones that have the long radius in this direction, where they're compensating for inconsistencies in the geometry, this one does not do that. This one is much more of a flat type of thing. You can feel a little bit of a motion across, but not like on the other one. Okay, so I probably almost erased with a 3K. I almost erased the initial bevel set with the long radius stone. So probably now here I am on the 8K stone. Probably this is mostly going to be a polishing effect. Some of the other guys that have cared to write about their results or talk about them have indicated that sometimes a stropping motion or a edge trailing stroke to be something you definitely want to make sure that you employ. Okay, so this is probably where I've erased the entirety of that particular edge, although I don't see anything. In there that would indicate I have fouled things up. Actually, right there, I'm seeing that on this side here, this side in that area, that I have not gotten completely out to the edge, the bevel with that, which would tend to indicate why maybe I'm not having as easy of a push cut now, or as easy of a cut into my packing peanut. And that's not really a concern that I have, because I am going to go back and finish out on the edge with the finest grit stone. So at this step where you're back on the long radius with a fine grit stone, you're only contacting out on a very, very small portion at the very, very edge of the razor. I've looked at this and I've seen on more than one razor. I don't know about some of the real thinner grinds yet, because I got to work with that a little bit more, but I didn't start looking for it until recently when I saw it on one of these gold dollars. But you could actually see where you're working at a distance out here where it's like half of what the bevel you can see. So it does not take a whole lot at this point to refine that edge. An hour into it, and in the end there, I went back and forth with the different curvatures, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, back and forth a couple of times. And I have a pretty easy cutting edge that I think I'm ready to start to hit on my strops. So I'll move the stones out of the way. Ultimately, what I want to do is I want to try and get to a more minimal set of pasted strops that I can recommend. I went ahead and bought this mounting thing and these balsa strops with the magnetic mounts from Chef Knives to Go. They have these either 3x11. They also have a 3x8. This is the Dovo paste. It comes in a tube. I forget what I read on the size on that. But for the most part, this is going through these is where, for me, in my style, this is where the finish is coming in. And I'm just, you do have to use some sort of an X, because I did shape these. These are shaped like on the plate with the short radius this way, the long radius being this way. So you do have to alternate your stroke and your touch to this. One of initially when I got these were all flat. One advantage on a balsa strop over one that you need to keep flat is that it wears, number one, and number two, it's susceptible to, it's being wood, it's susceptible to some shape deformation based on humidity and the amount of moisture it absorbs. Because this is elliptically convex, I haven't measured it. I don't put a straight edge on these, but I think the amount of curvature that's on this, it would be unlikely that any point of this that's lower would swell so that you would have anything less than a convex surface that you're working on all the time. And one of the things that I like doing this was that you can find that each step you go there, I'm just kind of going in, gliding in with a little bit of a lateral, not so much a straight push, but a little bit of a lateral, and it does go right in. You can hear the sharpening type sound of on this as you go along, and when you hear that ringing type of a noise, you kind of know you're on. And ultimately, what I wanted to try and do, I have some, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going through with just the Dovo paste with the green and the red and their black, and then I'll go to a leather strop. I'm not going to go into the CBN on this one because the two that I'm using against what I'm going to call my normal standard Primo stuff, I'm trying to get close to that with less complication and less cost. Okay, back into the information in that grinder's handbook from the mid-1800s. They specifically talk about using a red compound, which would be this one, would be most likely be iron oxide, and a black compound, which I think the author or the interpretation may have said lead or carbon or something, and I don't know what actually that was back in Civil War times, nor do I know what's in this is the Herald paste. I can't remember if the one that I bought said Dovo on it, but it's made by the same outfit. It's you see the Herald paste, one is in a red foil wrapper and the black one is in a blue foil wrapper, and those are controlled type abrasives. This would be sometimes called a jeweler's rouge, which is a polishing. And in the ancient grinder's handbook, they would actually shave after just the two pastes. Made a little bit of a mess over here from the waterstones. I had a paper towel that got dripped into the edge of it. It's like it's siphoned out most of the some of the. Okay, so and there it's just gliding in, not quite the push cut that I'm looking for, but it's pretty good. So, and the other nice thing, the other very, very nice thing about, God, I made a hell of a mess. This option is that it comes with a plastic bag, so you are isolating the abrasive from any kind of a contamination. And I'm lifting this up because sometimes it helps me to have a feel. I don't necessarily like to hold these. If you're somebody who has read into the very popular The Method, which uses also uses balsa strops to finish. The indication is that you need to have some control over the amount of pressure you put onto it. That's always the thing. Well, you know, the weight of the razor, half the weight of the razor. You know, it's one of those things that you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to get a feel for it for yourself. Because I don't understand what the weight of the razor only is. Because whenever I put my hand on this, I'm always feeling that I'm controlling it in one way, shape, or form. Okay, and that goes in pretty easy right there with just the with just the 3 pastes. I also ordered some diamond sprays, because I think I have like a 1 micron diamond and a 1/2 micron diamond. The pastes, I don't really see them necessarily as a beneficial step for me, and I'm likely going to abandon them, and very likely going to cannibalize those particular pieces of balsa. I'll just sand them down a little bit on the way I normally do on my plate. This is where I got a hankering for rue. Okay, this comes from Chef's Knives to Go. These are kind of expensive. I do like these, and one of the things I like so much, and this is flat, okay, but I really like the feel of the draw that I got on this particular piece of rue, okay? And I have no real idea, since I'm not working off of flattened gear. I have no idea whether going to flat, whether I'm actually contacting, but as I understand it from the grinder's handbooks, you know, since you're starting off curving away and hollowing the bevel, it's more likely that when you get to an end point like that and you're finishing, you're actually able to make contact with it. Okay, now I'm gonna use, this is my homemade, I bought a piece of rue and I cut this. This is mounted on here with a foam double adhesive tape, and there's some amount of give to this. This has a different feel than that rue, okay? One of the nice things about a strop that's curved like this, in this direction, is that unlike a hanging strop, I seem to think it's very difficult to roll an edge. That's my opinion. The jury's still out for me whether this particular piece of material is what I'm after. But rather than having a hanging strop, where no matter what you do, a hanging strop, it's going to give, okay, and as you move your razor across this direction or whatever direction, you're going to bow that hanging strop in, and you're actually going to begin to have some effect of where right here now I have a hollow bevel. You would actually begin to convex that edge itself, okay, which is not really what I want to do. I want to have that bevel be hollow, okay. This does have some amount of give on there, so any, you know, plus it has the curvatures, so I do believe it does get to the edge. That's push cutting, just push cutting right in there. I'm gonna shave with this, and I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna see how I like it. I also have this other one here. I haven't decided whether this was a cut off piece of I got this from the Superior Shave. This was a very inexpensive strop. I think it's like 20 bucks. They're not big. They're, you know, it's maybe a little bit more this way and a little this way with like a handle on there. Anybody starting out, I could wholeheartedly recommend this as a good strop to get, and certainly for this is really, really nice. I think one time I'd communicated with Jared regarding this, since I got it from him, and I think he's experimenting with taking these and putting his pastes on these, some of his pastes on these, as opposed to putting them on balsa. This has a great feel. This is it's almost like a super fine suede type feel. Okay, and what is my edge doing there? That's just dropping right into there. It's like no pressure whatsoever. It's going in there. This is where, for me, having a test like this that I can do here on the bench and correlate, and then when I go to shave with it, usually when I get what I like here, I usually have a very acceptable shave. And if I'm not getting the type of push cutting I want here with this test, I usually find that the shave is maybe a little more work or a little bit more tuggy. So that's an hour and 20 minutes runtime to sharpen one razor and talk. I've done them in less than that, and I've actually taken a lot more time. It's what I do for fun. This is my method. This video, I make this video because I'm intending to post it in the series of, that I've got going at the Shaving Cadre. I may at some point in time be making a couple of these gold dollar razors available on a pass around for people who want to see what they think of this particular hollow edge, hollow bevel edge, hollow compound bevel edge that I kind of like. And it's kind of a way to do a test drive before you run out and make an investment on something different than whatever it is you're doing. If whatever it is you're doing makes you happy and gives you the satisfaction you want, that's what you're after. You should be happy. I never had it until I started doing this kind of stuff. The last I heard, I originally heard that, and I probably wouldn't have even done this video if there was not going to be any more of those shaping plates available, because I did not think there was going to be any more. I'm told that in another couple of days there'll be some available if anybody's interested. I do have people in Europe who do watch my videos. If you are in Europe, there's restrictions with the value-added tax, I guess, that you're all probably well aware of. The way to get them in Europe is through eBay. Okay, eBay is able to manage the value-added tax to the municipalities a little bit better than one small guy in Florida who's selling these things. So they will be available. I don't view it $100 as, for me, it was a great investment. For some people it may be exorbitant, and it's certainly a lot of money if you are going to try and shape expensive stones that you've got. You want to look at that first. I like the synthetics. I certainly did like, and for people in the States, this is a great inexpensive way to go, I think. It's a lot of work if you wanted to shape a Arkansas stone. That is a tremendous amount of work. The results I get are really, really good. I really like working with those. But I just don't know if everybody is going to want to sit there for, I'm telling you, you go to shape, you get a 3x8 hard Arkansas stone, and you're going to go and shape that. You are in for the slave labor of your lifetime. It is going to take you a long time. Anybody there are people besides myself who have done it. It's a lot of work. But to all those on the Shaving Cadre, the greatest shaving forum and gentlemanly pursuits, interests forum going, please look it up. I'm there. You'll find a lot of other great guys doing shave videos, educational videos. It's a lighthearted, fun place to be. I like it. I think it's the best. Otherwise, I wouldn't say so. So, theshavingcadre.com. Look them up. Bill here, honing the convex way in the 21st century. Take care.